everyone. Good evening and welcome to Mackey Arena. Time for our BoilerBall pregame show. Tonight, our third-ranked Purdue Boilermakers host the Rutgers Scarlet Knights in a Big Ten matchup. This is, believe it or not, fans, only 2 games, home games left for Purdue after tonight against Rutgers. We are headed here in the home stretch, to say the least. I'm Rob Blackman. To my left, this is Chris Forman. To my right, welcome Bobby Riddell. Thanks for joining us, as many of you have been doing these last couple of weeks here for the BoilerBall pregame show. Rutgers coming in with a 6-8 record in Big Ten play, although they have won 4 of their last 5. They'd won 4 in a row before they lost Sunday night at Minneapolis. Our Boilermakers just had a 9-game winning streak snap at Ohio State on Sunday, as many of you know. Chris, let's talk about the good before we talk about the bad.
Good.
Sunday at Ohio State, Zach Keady became Purdue's all-time leading rebounder when he snatched his first rebound of the second half. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, Zach's over 1,100 rebounds, over 1,150 rebounds, setting the school record, passing Joe Barry Carroll on Sunday against the Buckeyes. Just another trophy on the mantle, if you want to call it that, or another another record that he's broken. So he's getting close, nearing the career scoring record, which means he'll become the all-time leader in points eventually, hopefully, and then all-time leader in rebounds. So just another incredible statistical feat for Zach Keady.
He is 38 points away, 38, from tying Joe Barry Carroll for second place all-time. To catch Rick Mount, the number is 2,323. 2,323. I'm going to give you a little helpful hint at home. This is how you can remember that number. During Rick's career at Purdue, he averaged 32.3 points a game, 32.3. You simply put a 2 in front of that, you have 2,323, and that's how you'll always know what the all-time record is for the moment. Purdue all-time scoring. We'll see if Zach Keady can catch him. Bob Riddell, Zach Keady did a lot of good things on that game Sunday, including setting the all-time rebounding record. I think his 6 turnovers he would like to have back, however. Purdue had 14 as a team.
For sure. I mean, the 6 turnovers definitely, something Zach, I'm sure he takes a lot of pride in trying to take care of the basketball down low. And if he's got a one-on-one opportunity to score the rock, if he draws 2, make a good pass and find his shooters. But, unfortunately, for the first time I feel like we've seen where Zach has a high turnover game, a lot of them came in one-on-one opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think you got to tip your cap a little bit to Zach Keady, the backup center for Ohio State. He realized the situation he was in. He was substantially undersized from both a height and weight standpoint compared to Zach Keady. And he maybe saw something on film that gave him the idea, or maybe it was just purely out of helplessness.
Desperation.
He decided when Zach gets into his shooting motion with his jump hook, left hand or right hand, he was going to go for the swipe as Zach was lifting that ball up into his shooting motion. And we saw a handful of times he was able to get the strip. Obviously there's some debate whether it was clean or a foul, but of course it wasn't called in the game, so it's a clean strip, and it worked really well for him. It was, a wise move on his part because he's the backup center, right? Got some fouls to give. If you do pick up a foul, maybe it's okay, but the upside is it's a strip, and we maybe have a chance to get a turnover go the other way. So definitely it'll be interesting to see if Rutgers tries to use the same tactic here tonight. Clifford Morey obviously can guard Zach a little bit better from a size and strength standpoint than maybe Zach Keady, but it will be also interesting to see if Zach maybe makes an adjustment at all, maybe try not to expose that ball as much as he gets into his shooting motion.
The other thing about that loss, and look, there are a lot of things that hurt in that loss. 14 turnovers didn't help, but the number of shots that Purdue missed at the rim, the number of layups, if Purdue makes just half of those wide open layups, they win the game.
No, for sure. And before that, like you said, the turnovers and the points off turnovers, the number of points they got in transition was brutal. And then, if you're going to have all those turnovers leading to the points, you definitely got to come away and make those bunnies when you have the opportunity. And just unfortunate that, Lance Jones has that play where he misses 2 in a row. We had the possession in the second half where we're really fighting back, and I think we had like 4 or 5 cracks at it right there at the rim that none of them were able to go down. And, when you end up losing a possession game late, those definitely come back to bite you.
Another thing that really hurt the Boilermakers, we only attempted 9 3-pointers.
True.
And that, Ohio State did a great job limiting our 3-point looks. Purdue needs to shoot 3-pointers. I know we have a dominant guy in the middle, but Purdue needs to shoot 3-pointers to be successful because you're shooting them at 40%. So if you shoot 18, you make 8 of them. That's pretty good percentage, and we only had 9 attempts, and it just really hampered us on offense.
Lance Jones made all 3 of the threes, by the way. He made all of them. Purdue is 40.1, as Chris mentioned, three-point shooting. That's 3rd best in the country. So it is a matter of just get some shots up. By the way, I know Sunday late afternoon the sky was falling, Purdue fans. I'm surprised we didn't cancel the rest of the season. I'm glad we didn't, because when the AP poll came out Monday, Chris, Purdue was still 3rd in the country.
Yeah, we're still 3rd behind UConn and Houston. You saw what happened to UConn on Tuesday night, losing at Creighton by about 20 points. Creighton's a great team. Obviously, they played well, but you go on the road in February, things are going to happen. You're going to lose games. Purdue lost, unfortunately, to Ohio State, but it snapped a 9-game winning streak. Had looked great during those 9 games. A little blip on Sunday, but hopefully we can get it back tonight.
Well, here's what we know. We're in the final quarter. With a final quarter poll here of the regular season. Purdue has 5 games remaining, starting tonight with Rutgers. Purdue at the moment has a 2-game lead over its nearest competitor in the Big Ten standings, Illinois, with the Illini losing last night at Penn State. So 5 games left, 2-game lead. That puts the magic number at 3. 3 for Purdue to clinch their 26th Big Ten regular season title. I know it's easy for guys like us, Chris, to talk about it. Players and coaches have to concentrate on the next game ahead of them, but to know that Purdue's that close to back-to-back Big Ten titles, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, these are 2 really big games coming up against Rutgers and then Michigan on Sunday, because you want to keep that space, because you go to Illinois in the last week of the year, and Illinois, if they're playing for something at their place, it's going to be awfully hard to beat. So you want to keep the distance between us and Illinois. Illinois's got a tough game Saturday. If Purdue can take care of business tonight, Iowa gives us a little help on Saturday. You could be playing for a clinch already on Sunday. So
wow.
Let's just put that in your back pocket and, pull for the Hawks on Saturday.
All right, back to Rutgers. The first game against Rutgers, Bob, from a statistical standpoint, boggles the mind. Purdue was out-rebounded, only game they've been out-rebounded all year. Purdue had 5 more turnovers than Rutgers did, and Purdue shot less than 30% from 3, yet won the game by 8 points. Statistically, one would think that's impossible, but somehow Purdue did it.
It's pretty wild, too, because you read all those numbers off, you look at the stat sheet, and you're kind of like on the road, stunned that you come away with that victory. But if you watched the game, you felt like Purdue was in control the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like from a margin standpoint. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but obviously Purdue, from a defensive standpoint, was really, really good, especially in the first half, limiting Rutgers to 20 points. It's their lowest point total in a half all season. The defense got it done, certainly that day, even though Purdue didn't check off a lot of those boxes in the box score they normally do.
I'll say about that game, too, Rutgers never got the lead in the second half.
Yeah.
And you always felt if they got the lead, they got it down to 2, 3, but if they ever got the lead, like it could have been a different result, because that place is a really hard place to play. And this Rutgers is significantly different defensively at home than on the road, if you look at their numbers. So they're not going to have the crowd with them tonight. So hopefully you can get a little space and then keep it going.
Good transition, because they are also now significantly different offensively than the team we saw on January 28th. Jeremiah Williams, who had been suspended up until 5 games ago, is now eligible to play. And how good is he right out of the gate? He was the Big Ten Player of the Week, his first week of eligibility. He really gives these guys a punch in the arm, Bob, offensively.
Yeah, how about that? It gets Big Ten Player of the Week with 2 really terrific games, stuff in the stat sheet. And, from an offensive standpoint, he's been inefficient, taking about 12 shots per game, so he's definitely not been bashful. But he is their leading scorer at 13 points per game, so he's clearly been getting the point production out there. He's had a couple really nice games and a couple stinkers, but hopefully here at Mackey Arena tonight, he has one of those stinkers again, because he's definitely a guy that is giving them some scoring punch, but also he's 6'4", physical, athletic. They didn't really need much help defensively, but man, having another athlete there on the perimeter who can hawk our ball handlers, that's definitely something to be worried about.
They are number 2 in the country, adjusted defensive efficiency. Purdue's number 2 in the country, adjusted offensive efficiency. Something's got to give, Bob.
Big difference here, though, Rob. Rutgers is 275 offensively. Yeah. Boilermakers are 20th defensively. Yep. So
hopefully Boiler's got some lockdown defense tonight then.
We're going to see what good and bad, what's going to happen here. So.
I do want to mention this. This is a rarity. I don't know if we've ever had this ever in a broadcast. There will be 1 player on each team tonight that will be chasing Matt Harms. Here's what I mean. The big man, Cliff Amore for Rutgers, is one block shot away from tying Matt Harms for 18th place all-time in the history of the Big Ten. If Cliff gets one block tonight, by the way, he's top 5 in the country right now in block shots. If he gets one block tonight, he'll tie Matt Harms for 18th place all-time. Our own Zach Keady is 3 blocks away from tying Matt Harms for 18th place all-time. So look out, Matt Harms, because Zach Keady and Cliff Amore are both chasing you tonight. How about that?
That's pretty random stuff right there.
The shot block race, I like it.
Never thought I would be bringing up Matt Harms during a broadcast this late in the season. But
Matt did that in just 3 years then, right? As far as a Big Ten player goes.
Correct, right? Matt was 3 years.
Matt put up those blocks
because he went to BYU. Yeah, that's even more significant now, isn't it? All right, with that, let me close it out. I'll start with Chris. Keys tonight for a Boilermaker victory. How can Purdue cut down that magic number to win a Big Ten title to 2?
It's got to be taking care of the ball. I mean, plain and simple. Had 15 turnovers against them last time. When Purdue does not turn the ball over, Purdue wins. In their 3 losses, they're averaging about 14, 15 a game, right around there. So if Purdue takes care of the ball, it does not lose games. So that's the key to victory tonight.
Let me give you the hard numbers. If Purdue commits 13 or less turnovers in a game, they're 18-0. 18-0. And Matt Painter, these are his words, not mine, on the Coaches Show Monday, he said in years past, if we kept our turnovers at a certain number, we felt like we had a good chance to win. This year, if we keep our turnovers at a certain number, we will win. That's what Coach Painter said. Your thoughts, Bob, on how we can sweep the series here from Rutgers?
Well, I think that's it for sure. I mean, Chris talked about the offensive numbers. We're number 2. They're 275th. We're just a substantially more talented offensive team. So if we're able to get as many cracks, from a offensive standpoint at the rim, because of our great offensive rebounding to boot, I just think it's going to be extremely tough for Rutgers to come into this arena and win a game. So I think you just got to take care of the basketball. You definitely, if you are going to turn it over, please let it be the variety where the ball goes into the stands, or it's a shot clock violation, something to where Rutgers is not getting out in transition and we're seeing Cliff Amore hanging on the rim, because that's how Rutgers can steal some points and stay in this game.
I got one other thing. Rutgers beat us here last year as well.
Yes, they did.
So this team's going to be pretty motivated coming off a loss Sunday, not wanting to lose 2 straight at home to Rutgers. This team's going to play well tonight.
Rutgers has won 2 of the last 3 here in Mackey Arena. They've been one of the few teams in our league that has somehow figured out a way to be competitive against the Boilermakers here in Mackey. We hope you'll join us in Mackey tonight, 7:01 for the tip-off. If you can't be here in person, please join Bob and myself on the radio network. We would love to have you along for the ride. 7:01 tonight, Purdue and Rutgers. This has been the BoilerBall pregame show. Have a great night, everyone. Boiler up and hammer down.